In the land of the blind, the one eyed man is king. In this case, the one eyed Jack. Cool to have you with us, probably in Memorex, probably in archive. Um, I've been off for a while just trying to figure out what to do with this channel. As you can see, this isn't a new fashion statement. Um, I messed up my eye pretty good and I'm going for surgery on it tomorrow. I tore a retina. I had no idea. Maybe you guys know more about this than I do, but I really had no idea that this was so common. And as soon as I put the word out there, trying to get advice from people, what should I do? Does this kind of thing heal by itself? Is there any kind of thing I can do? You guys can add in any advice you have too. Is there something I can do? Some kind of herb I can take, some kind of therapy, some kind of diet I can revert to that could repair what I knew then and what I know now to be a torn retina in my right eye. Um, and immediately people were just telling me straight up, hey, you can't mess with this. This isn't something you can play around with. Can't take any chances. You'll go blind. And that's pretty much been confirmed to me by everyone. But I was pretty blown away by what an epidemic this is. I don't remember hearing about this, but allegedly, when you get over the age of 55, it is a drag getting old. And this is pretty common, especially in men. And for some reason, it seems to me, because all the people I talk to, I get this from them, they're men with blue eyes. So I don't know if that somehow adds to a proclivity of this malady. I, as you guys know, work security. I was in my friend's bar, so I wasn't even at my job where I've had a upscale in incidents. We have like one of the most friendly bars. I have to cover this eye because looking at this computer screen makes me see all kinds of squiggly things and flashes, and it's just too distracting. But no, men just start tearing their retinas and detaching their retinas in their eyes. And if you don't know what a retina is, you can look it up. I'm sure most people are, you know, it's such a basic thing, but it it's in back of your eye, and it helps you refract and deal with how light is processed through your eyes. Um, no, I was at a friend's bar, and he had a dude just being completely disrespectful, unruly, refused to pay, refused to leave. So he's by himself. I'm like, he kind of looks at me, and I go, all right, I got it. Experienced bouncer. And while I'm carrying this guy out and trying to get him out the door, and he's struggling, and I got him, pretty locked up. Unbeknownst to me, he had another guy there who came from around behind me and sucker punched me in the eye. It was nothing. Didn't even get a black eye. Didn't go down. Didn't hurt. At that point, my friend jumped around and some other customers helped, and we got both those guys out, and they just took off. Never seen them before. Don't know who they are. Uh, and just went about my night. And then the next day, saw some crazy flashes of light in my peripheral vision. The next day, started seeing they call them floaters. Looks like pieces of thread over your eyeball that you can't really get rid of. And it's kind of come and gone. And that happened last week. And finally, with enough advice, I went to the emergency room, and yeah, that's always fun and expensive. And found out what, just confirming. I'm going to know more tomorrow because I'm scheduled for surgery tomorrow. How if it's just something like outpatient, or if it's something, just go in, get the lasers, or they also use cryogenics as well. Hopefully it's one of those. If you guys are pulling for me, you want to send me any magic or prayers, that's what we're hoping for, because it's certainly less expensive and it's less traumatic. I haven't had a surgery of any kind, and I've turned down some, and I'm pretty good at healing myself, not since the 70s. And I had a whole bunch of them because this eye, which is now my good eye, which used to be my bad eye, got torn up in a motorcycle accident. I had to have it all put back together, and that's a long story. But I was surprised that you just wake up one day and you have a torn or detached retina. This is a really almost an epidemic. And what the doctors tell me is, well, that's the softest part of your body. For men, your balls and your eyeballs, right? All your balls are things where you got to look out for things happening and take care of them. Now, obviously, I haven't lived the cleanest life, and and I have been in a lot of fights. I've been punched in the eye and in anywhere, nothing ever happened like this. So, and again, it was just such a light punch, really. It is kind of amazed that it caused this kind of damage, but there are people, again, who just don't. I'm not going to talk about that for this whole video, and I'm not going to do a long video. I appreciate everybody being here with us. If you have any info on it, I guess send it to me. And if you have any prayers, magic, healing energy, man, I totally need it. If you're into that kind of thing, I know people that are, and I believe in all of that. So I could use it. Also, I'm going to be out of work and probably off this channel and not able to do my radio show and all the things I do to make money for maybe the next 2 weeks, longer, depending on how the surgery goes tomorrow. So I obviously, any kind of donation, financial support, anything you could throw me right now, I'm basically having to use my rent money at this point just to get scheduled and just to get to where I'm getting. And I've applied for some kind of state insurance, but I don't know if I'm going to get it. Who knows? I'm just kind of playing the game right now. The game I hate, which is doctors and medical. I go into if you can do that, jackblood@hotmail.com is my email. As you guys know, jackblood@hotmail.com. I know who has a Hotmail. I guess I do. And because it's just, I don't have any luck with other emails at all. PayPal is one way to go. Zelle, Zelle. That goes right from your bank to mine, and we don't have to cut PayPal in at all. But I mean, anything, $5, $50, whatever, if I'm going to stay alive. Funny though, when I'm seeing a male nurse, and this guy couldn't have had the worst bedside manner. He had the worst bedside manner of anyone I've ever dealt with in a hospital. And I know he was just tired and doing business, and they have a lot of crazies that turn up, especially when it's cold up here in the north part of the country, who come in and litter emergency rooms just to get out of the cold, I guess, and have someone to pretend to talk to. It can be very annoying, and I'm sure stressful for the people that work there. And I get asked, do I have COVID? Well, first they ask you, do you want to hurt yourself or somebody else? All that kind of BS to make sure you're not completely nuts. Then they ask you, do you have COVID? No. Are you vaccinated for COVID? You can see my winking right here in this eye, right? Sure. Have you gotten the flu vaccination? And I wanted to say, what? Wait, there's a flu? I thought the flu was eradicated by COVID, because I haven't heard of that. I think, when you get the cold or a flu, it's just automatically, you have COVID of some kind. I mean, in my head, that's kind of how it looks to me, but I don't know. No, I'm telling you, man, you better get the flu vaccine right now, because I'm seeing people come into this ER with the flu, and it's knocking people down. I mean, it's wiping people out. Now, here's where I could start debating the nurse as he's getting my information. Now, is this vaccine designed just for the flu that people are getting now, or is it a leftover from an old flu? Or and how many people that have the flu got the vaccine? And of course, we can't ask any of those questions. You got to kind of try to keep a low profile and be cool if you want to get any kind of decent help in an emergency room, man. Um, and then, of course, I'm going in to get a diagnosis for my eye, just hoping that it's something that's not that bad, and don't even care about it. I have high blood pressure. Oh well, that's the whole thing. That's it. So I get all the eye tests, all the stuff that they do, and have things crammed in my eye and whatever, all the stuff that they do, man. But they are giving me blood pressure, basically telling me if I don't take blood pressure medicine, which I've avoided like the plague ever since the last time I tried it 10 years ago, and it made me feel like I was going to die. I mean, I felt like I was going to have a heart attack every 2 seconds on that crap. And I just wanted to stay away from it. And then my wife is there, so she's been also nagging me about my blood pressure constantly, and it's really not that big of a deal. But I was 204 over 102. Okay, I get it. That's bad. I get it. Maybe this is why I'm losing my memory, because I am, and that's a problem. I'll get to that in a second. I mean, it seems like the second you go into a hospital, you're way sicker than you were when you go in. And that's why I avoid this shit. I just don't want anything to do with it. I just try to wish it away. I do try to take care of myself. I've recently stopped almost all alcohol and drug intake. I don't take drugs, but smoke pot or whatever. I mean, cut down on my cigarette smoking. That's going to be a tough one. So I'm trying to clean up my life. I eat pretty good. I don't eat fast food really, and I don't eat a lot of crap. I don't eat a lot of fats and butters and stuff. I kind of keto, kind of not. Try to eat organic foods when I can. I mean, it's expensive these days just to eat any kind of food. To eat bologna. Have you seen the price of bologna? I was a little depressed on the last broadcast because I'd just gone shopping and had my teeth knocked in by the escalating prices of the non-inflation, whatever that is. Of course, now that the election's over, gas is back up, food's just going through the roof. Nobody seems to care. All the money's going to the usual places, and I know I got to pull myself up on my bootstraps. I've been trying to do that most of my life. I've sacrificed some pretty good careers to be an honest broker, to be a real person. Didn't work, I guess, but I took my shots. I got real close. It's amazing to me, some of the podcasts I watch that are massive. And even though I know, our camera here is not good and the quality is not great. I mean, what's important about that? I listen to punk rock music a lot, and that's the production quality isn't great, but the music's great. The energy is great. The feeling is great. It's got soul. And I think that's what we were trying to offer here with our IRL. So I was doing that. And when I first came back onto this channel, by the way, it's my channel's birthday today. I have no idea. I would assume it's whenever YouTube started. I'm sure we had a channel pretty quick after that, and this is that channel. And as you can see, it's just a rousing success. So happy birthday to the channel, and to all of you who have been here with us. I'd like to have a lot more people for many, many reasons, mostly because, I know people, I myself, I think we have a pretty good message, a pretty positive message, and we're not going to bullshit you. We're not going to say things or not say things for the most part just because it will go over better with somebody. I mean, this is real life, and I'm in bed right now. I'm not supposed to be moving around. I'm probably not even supposed to be doing this, but but there's a couple of things I wanted to say, and a lot of times, and one reason I like doing this is a lot of times you people, and I'm sure you feel the same way with some of the people you talk to or work with. Maybe you're lucky. I have maybe three friends tops in the city I live in that I could really level with and talk to about real things that won't try to cancel me or freak out. Um, Even the people I tell them what they want to hear, sometimes I mess it up because I'm lying to them. I'm telling them what they want to hear, so I could walk around, play music, do some things that I love doing. By the way, our Cramps tribute show was not only massive, great, made a ton of money on it, but not a ton compared to this channel. Um, Good pay for a 30-minute set, that's for sure. And it was historic. Not only that, later that week, I met for the first time one of the members of the Cramps, and his book is awesome. I'm hoping Kid Congo Powers. I'm hoping to get him on, which kind of leads me to where we're going. One of the reasons I wanted to come on is because the last time I signed off, I mean, it just occurs to me that there are things I can do to make this channel better. I know with YouTube and with things like this, these podcasts, even though I have a long career doing things like this, I think we did some of the first podcasts ever on my radio station in Phoenix. And some people that we brought on and did specialty shows, um, you know, are still going strong. I could name a few off the top of my head. I know I was one of the first people on the internet. So, I mean, we've got quite a long history of working, but this channel has been inactive for a while, and I knew it was going to take some time to get that done, but I don't know how much time I have, and I just want it to be better. I just want to have more people to talk to, more input, more conversation. The fact is, one of the reasons I'd like this channel to be bigger. Uh, I mean, we hardly get any subscriptions. It's okay. It is what it is. Um, is because if I have a bigger channel, I can get better guests for you. Right now, some of the best guests around, they're just like everybody else. They're looking at how many views you have and la 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 before they decide if they're gonna even talk to you, let alone do an interview with you. The big interviews I get on my radio show are generally people asking me because of my long-standing reputation. I had Ivan Eland on last week, who I think is fantastic, even though he's a think tank guy. I mean, he says stuff that no one else says. And I'm knowing Ivan, not personally or anything, but he's been doing my radio show for 15 years. And he's a libertarian, dyed in the wool libertarian, and sees things much in the same way I do. So it was a real pleasure to talk to him. And of course, we had massive technical difficulties all the way to the end. When I was getting to the real meat of my questions, after about 45 minutes, he kept having phone problems, conveniently. And when I have, right wing propagandists on, but they're popular, big, and hey, let's do it. Let's see what I can get out of them. No problems. I have hit this guy on, constant problems, constant drops. But I thought, we handled it pretty good until about the last 10 minutes of the show, when my internet just went off for no reason and didn't come back on for a few hours. That's actually never happened. Happened once or twice on this channel on YouTube, but not on my Ocelli.com show, which is doing pretty good. It's doing okay. I certainly plan to continue that once my eye heals. But I want to do something good with this channel, and I'd love to get your feedback. You can put it in the comment section. I can't really read too much the things you guys are writing in the chat. Please write them, and I'll maybe be able to go back and read them later. But go in the comment section, and if you haven't subscribed or all the stuff you do on YouTube, man, please do that. I think we were -1 last month. That's pretty disheartening. I don't promote very much. I am in the process of bringing a booker in so we can, maybe I don't have the time sometimes to go back and forth with a lot of guests I'd really love to have on this platform. So hopefully, we have a girl that's going to do that, and potentially my friend Glenn, who's also sent me another really great computer, which I can't set up till my eyes all better anyway. But that should actually improve production significantly on this channel, on especially with live streams and whatnot. So this is all good news. There's always a silver lining in that chemtrail, my friends. Now they'll put a disclaimer on the bottom of this video. They usually do that, and I'm joking, kind of. You know, silver lining of that cloud. Well, I just supplant that. Anyway, last time I think I said that, they put a disclaimer on the bottom how contrails, la la la. They got to do that, right? Because they have nothing to hide. So, but I want to do is get some suggestions from y'all about what I should do. What do you think I can do with this platform? Now, I have a couple of ideas. I'm super into history. I'm super into true history. One of the best parts about putting my son through school and helping him with his history was writing reports that would blow the teacher's mind. I know things, and that's why when I interview people and we get into history, I can almost one up them. I spent a lot of time in my life studying history, all kinds, ancient history, recent history, um, and those do pretty good. Dan Carlin is a guy I really admire, and he gets it mostly right, and he just does his history with such style and soul. It's captivating. If you don't know Dan Carlin, I'd love to have him on this channel if he'll do it. But go check out his work if you're into history like me. But I'm really into it. It's one of my passions, and I think it's important and adds context to what is going on today. So that's one thing. And then debunking fake history is something I like to do. So that's kind of in one category. Um, Obviously, and I've done this before, and is it successful? I don't know, but I think there's a need for a resource of a full 360-degree view of admitted conspiracies, ones that we already know are true, not a theory, but documented, archived conspiracies. And I could give any number of examples. We could go with Gulf of Tonkin, Operation Ajax, the overthrow of Iran, which led to domino theory, which led to where we're at now. Adding all kinds of 360-degree context, and I think that could be valuable and might help us get outside this box and to reach more people if I can break the algorithm spell, so people even know I exist, because I see some of those things take off like wildfire. We have a lot of people on this platform on YouTube who simply know something's popular and then just read a script or read Wikipedia and add a couple of pictures. And some of those things are getting hundreds of thousands of views. And it is baffling. But I know, people who are just starting to go down a rabbit hole or just starting to learn are looking for things just like that. And once they find one thing, it leads to another thing, and potentially it could lead to this very channel. So I'm interested in that. One thing that everybody else is doing, I guess, and they're very successful doing it, is just critiquing other podcasters. And I've got a few of those. So that's the old, we play a little clip from somebody else talking out their butt, and I break down why they're completely wrong. That's something. Also, something I probably will do, whether you like it or not, is doing film reviews, documentary film reviews, book reviews, potentially even music reviews, because I consume a lot of that constantly, and I have some pretty strong opinions on those, and some of that will be debunking or potentially in a more positive bent, praise. Of course, as I mentioned, we have a booker. We're going to be doing interviews. I just got to figure out how to put someone else on screen with me so it's not just audio. We can do that now, and I will be doing that as soon as I can. The breaking news du jour, I mean, I've been doing that. I'm not sure how successful that's been, and I think that kind of keeps me in my own, little corner. Jack, go sit in the corner. And but I won't be able to resist doing that. So certainly, um, I mean, speaking of critiquing podcasters, all these dudes. First of all, we got a group of Christian, heavy God hat wearing Christians, anomaly, who I happen to like, but very, very Christian, very God oriented. Everything is God, and which is fine, man. Hey, it's your world, for you, whatever works for you. I do my own, have my own spirituality, certainly, which may not be a lot different than his or yours. I just don't wear it on my sleeve. But a lot of these guys just really have a boner for for Elon Musk, and then here he is at the Heidi Klum Halloween show wearing, and this has been in the news. It was essentially a Satanist costume with an upside down cross and the goat. Now I don't know. I mean, we could surmise. I'm never going to be able to talk to the man, so we can surmise if that's because. And you look at his past. He's admitting something. He's proud of it, or he's just trolling. He might just be. The guy likes to troll. Maybe he just wanted to get a reaction out of people. Um, I mean, I'm certainly not trying to judge, but I think it's a little hypocritical if you're a huge Elon Musk fan and he goes around doing this stuff constantly, that you're okay um, supporting him, putting Trump back on Twitter, which I was all for. I know people aren't going to like that. Man, people are freaking out about that one. What? An ex-president, an actual president of the United States is allowed to tweet? Uh, Now, I have my own theories on why Elon bought Twitter, and it wasn't for free speech, but that kind of hypocrisy, I think, should be pointed out, especially by people who are constantly harping on other people's hypocrisy. That's maybe the most hypocritical and slightly ironic. They're also, and I see even Jimmy Dore today, also for everybody says you got to reinstate Alex Jones into Twitter. What they don't understand, because they don't know him, and by the way, Alex, when he was denied by Elon, his because he's a real star effer, that Mr. Jones, doesn't know what it is, but and I've seen this firsthand, and you probably have too. He will, and I see a lot of people doing this all the time. You will let someone else slide because they're famous or popular or maybe can do something for you, when someone maybe like me or you do the exact same thing and get kicked to the curb. It's kind of like laws are selectively enforced. Our attitudes towards others can be selectively enforced. I'm a big believer in treating everybody the same. So whether that's, you know, someone who came to one of my shows or one of the rock stars that are on the bill of the show that I play with, like, I try to respect everybody almost in the exact same way. And sometimes I guess it doesn't come off super good. Why would you be as nice to me as you would the rock star you're playing with? You know? And sometimes I'm nicer because sometimes those rock stars aren't so nice. But yeah, Alex is even after being told he's not going to be reinstated to Twitter, saying nothing but wonderful things about Sir Elon, who I think has a little bit of a God complex. Which kind of God? I'll let you figure out. Not Moloch, that's for sure. But so Jimmy Dore, all these other people, well, why can't you, if you believe in free speech, why don't you put Alex Jones back on? And my answer to that is because he wouldn't do the same for you, wouldn't do the same for me, wouldn't get my back. In fact, canceled me and censored me and blacklisted me, which, yeah, am I butthurt about it? Not, I mean, not as much as I am that I lost my career over it almost. I mean, pretty much went from syndicated radio show to internet radio show in one day. The great Catherine Albrecht, who is another very religious Christian person, took my spot. One trick pony, can only talk about microchips for the most part. Very conservative Republican. Man, that got old fast. They had, I mean, I had a pretty diverse show. Some of the biggest guests around. You know, a lot of people love that show, Deadline Live. And I'm not going to get into all the whole thing because ruined. We could have had a great governor in Texas. Alex Jones ruined that because he's gets more play with Rick Perry, who he's calling out as to be a Bilderberger. See, I know the real guy, and the real guy doesn't deserve the fair shake that maybe even a Donald Trump would, or a Jordan Peterson, or whoever was kicked off of Twitter and now brought back on. It's probably because Elon needs to show that he's not just going to bring everybody on, because his advertisers would be pissed. But everybody has an opinion on this, and people, it's either all free speech or all none. Now, personally, I don't care, but I think it's important to know whose back you're getting and why that person embodies the term hypocrisy, the word hypocrisy. So, I mean, you dug your grave, man. You lie in it, and lie he does. So comment and vote down below what you want to see me do with this platform, because I'd like to keep talking to people. That would be awesome. Maybe you've got some better ideas of what I can do. Again, this whole IRL in real life thing. Here's my house, and here I am just very casually talking to you about important things. While some of you are real cool with it, some people are not. And I have to grow this channel to make it worth putting a lot of time in. I mean, I can do this once a month or something. You want these constantly coming. You want bigger guests coming in. You want some seriously real conversations without bias, religious bias, political bias, propaganda bias, cash bias, whatever, man. I can do that. And I have done it. Thousands and thousands of hours of it successfully. And I'm at the point, you can see I'm falling apart. If you just tuned in, I'm getting eye surgery tomorrow. My eye's like super messed up, but I can see out of it. But looking into a computer, reading, things like that are pretty difficult for me. So much to get into, so much I could talk to you about, but I've already taken 33 minutes of your time. By the way, of course, as you know, it is 11/22/22 today. There's some crazy numbers, huh? And this would be the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I thought Jim Marrs and Ed Haslam wrote two of the best books on that, but there's so many other ones. And I think, when I was being filmed for one of Jim Marrs's films, if you don't know his work, he's not with us anymore. We lost Jim, but probably one of the best researchers I've ever met. And yeah, he got into some kind of crazy stuff, but hey, man, the people want it and he's interested in it. Why shouldn't he write about it? But when he was filming me for a documentary he was doing on 9/11, when he asked me point blank, sitting me down, we were at, I think, the Arizona conference, that shit show, where I spoke. What's the number one thing that tells you that 9/11 was an inside job, or not what they told us? You can pick one of those. Lie hop, my hop, all of that. But I said number one is the cover up, you know, but you've got the motive, you got the opportunity, you bombed it before, that being the FBI and the alphabet agencies covered that up, lied about that. I mean, your fingerprints are all over it right there, and then you just go down the list on that. But Kennedy, man, that's and it's a false flag because what were the neocons back then trying to do right away? Blame it on Russia? Wow, how little things have changed in 60, almost 60 years. 59 years. Yeah, 59. I always know the anniversary of the JFK assassination, murder in the streets of Dallas, Texas, because I was born just a few months before that, so it syncs up with my birthday. Yeah, that's kind of a weird traumatic way to go into the world because it did affect the entire world. But the hardliners, the Russia haters, the anti-communist dudes out there who were first in line to take out Kennedy because he was one of them until he had his paradigm shift. A lot of people say he took LSD and kind of woke up a little bit because he was one of the elites and he was quite the anti-communist guy and really changed his tune that last year or so and made a lot of enemies in doing so. But they tried to blame it on Castro and Cuba and Russia. That was the birdseed trail behind Lee Harvey Oswald the entire time. That was the setup. And the same right wingers that set that up are the same right wingers that were sponsoring death squads in Central and South America. So Cubono, who benefits, but prior knowledge, there already had been a number of threats and potential attempts just before that on JFK. Stand down, which a number of people have written about, how the Secret Service kind of stepped back a little bit. Not all of them, but just enough of them. And then the ones that are doing the real planning to throw him out in the open in a convertible when all this is happening. I mean, I know the times are a little bit different. Now they have a beast that they literally call the presidential limo the beast. It's all the usual stuff. So prior knowledge, cover up, stand down, who benefits, And so it's always been with JFK. Who did it? It's Murder on the Orient Express, baby. And I hate to give away the ending. Spoiler alert. After getting through the entire story, they all did it. So one guy helped the other guy, one hand washed the other one. I did interview Bill Bonanno, who was Joe Bananas, a Bonanno crime family. It was his son, and he was actually head of the family for a while. They lived in Arizona when I had my station there. 50,000 water KFNX, 1100 AM. Still there, doing conservative talk radio, I guess, one-man show. Of course, you ask the guy who killed Kennedy what happened to Hoffa. He said Johnny Roselli shot him from the sewer. So all the grassy knoll stuff and a lot of that could have just been distraction to take away from the fact because they have if you guys live in the South, or in torrential rain territory. I live in perpetual rain territory, but I've lived in the deep South about 20 years. You get torrential rain down there. And same thing even in Los Angeles, because it doesn't rain a lot there, but when it does, it rains pretty hard. And this under the curb, the sewers are gnarly, man. It's deep enough to crawl into because you've got to take almost a river going down a street. And it would be easy access. And so you've got the distraction in the bird's nest. You got the distraction in the grassy knoll. But, I mean, and Johnny Roselli was certainly involved in it. Ed Haslam has him all involved in that deal too, where they were studying how to create fast-acting cancer. And all the players David Ferry. Read Dr. Mary's Monkey is the name of that book. And I've interviewed, or go back and I think on this channel, you can hear interviews I did with Ed Haslam, who has been there and done that, who was there, whose family and whatnot were intimately connected with that. Trying to remember the name. My memory is starting to go. That's another issue I have. So I might have to really take some notes, which is going to require me to read some bullet points minimally if I'm scripting things I want to talk about, not scripted as how I talk about it the entire time, because I like, free form, free flow. This is my jazz. I'm trying to remember his name. Hank Albarelli. It's a Terrible Mistake is his book about Frank Olson. Excellent book, man. Get that. But he wrote a second book, and that's what I'm trying to remember. And this was about MK Ultra and mind control. And he puts all the players around Lee Harvey Oswald proving, not circumstantially, but definitively, that Lee Harvey Oswald, that they were messing with that guy from a very young age. Okay. But, I mean, everybody benefited. Everybody, now you got LBJ in office, Texas oil guys, the CIA, the mafia, who played a role. And Johnny Roselli was a mafia. In fact, they say he killed Giancana himself. He's the one that killed Giancana. Somebody that knew him killed him. Momo. Crazy bastard. And someone killed Johnny Roselli before he could talk. Obviously, who killed Lee Harvey Oswald? That was the mafia. I don't know. I felt I should have at least said something on the November 22nd doing a podcast about JFK. I could go forever and ever and ever. I know plenty of experts. Chuck Ocelli, who's the producer of my Thursday show. We won't be doing one Thanksgiving, but he's known as the blind JFK researcher, and we are going to be the blind leading the blind here at some point. I hate to joke about it, but he's really done well adapting to it, and I'm hoping I can keep my right eye. As I say, in the land of the blind, we are all the one-eyed kings. We can see. That's H.G. Wells wrote the book that was based on. There's actually also a really great movie. I've interviewed that director. That movie was killed in distribution. All kinds of movie stars in it, called Land of the Blind, which I think is still pretty relevant today. The essence of it was Bush era, so there is kind of a Bush-like character in it. And there's a revolution, hard revolution, and the revolution, it's much like the French Revolution. They win, and they're actually worse than the people that they supplanted in many cases. A very, very interesting movie, which I don't think it's too dated at this point. It's still a pretty good watch. You could probably find it for free somewhere now, but they wouldn't put that out in the movie theaters. They wouldn't even put Idiocracy out in the movie theaters. And those guys were successful, man. That people that made that movie, very successful people. Loved that movie. Saw that movie with Alex Jones. The first time we both saw it together. Pretty funny. He ate the whole time. I'm sure you'd be shocked to hear that. But again, hey man, I could definitely use some support right now. I'm gonna have a bunch of medical bills. I'm trying to keep the lights on and keep a roof over my head and put food on my family. We were gifted a turkey this year, which is pretty cool. And we got all the other stuff. So we're going to have dinner over here. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by. jackblood@hotmail.com. If you can throw us $1, $10, $100, whatever. I mean, whatever you can. If you could, really make a sacrifice for me this time, you're in for life, man. No, I get it. Times are tough. Nobody has any extra cash throwing. I just there was a fundraiser for my friend who is going to rehab, and really, really good guy, great musician. And he's got to, quit his job and go to rehab and all of that, which, hey, if that works for you, good. Willpower is great too. It's a little cheaper, but I don't have money, and I pitched in on that, and so did a lot of other people. I think that guy in about 3 or 4 days raised $10,000. Yeah. Another one of my friends they do GoFundMe's, man. I don't like that because then they take a cut, and why should we cut them in when we can just do it directly? jackblood@hotmail.com. Support this broadcast, support me, support my family, um, in any way you can. And you can go through PayPal or Zelle, Zelle is how it's spelled. That's no one gets cut in on that. Goes right from your bank to my credit union, and that'll get me through the next month while I'm getting the surgery on my eye tomorrow, healing up, man. And it is Thanksgiving, so I'm a pretty thankful guy on a lot of levels. I'm pretty grateful on a lot of levels. I might complain here and there, and we all do. Bad drivers just enrages me. I've got to work on that, especially since I'm not allowed to soften the blow with a little Pacalolo or a shot of whiskey or something. Man, I gotta do all this straight right now for a while, and at least for a while. But yeah, there's things that piss me off. I'm human. I'm a flawed individual. I know that. I know why I'm flawed. Generally, I try to work on that. This show, this platform, very cathartic for me. So I'm thankful, first of all, for all of you guys, everyone that stayed with me all this time. You guys are the core foundation, the core base for this platform. If it ever takes off, it'll be just because of you. You'll be VIP members for life, and I know you who's out there. So you like this video, you comment on it, you subscribe to it. If there's something in there that's good, feel free to cut out a nugget. I mean, I don't really have the power to do that, but if there's 2 minutes or 5 minutes, God forbid, 10 minutes, cut that out, republish it, use it, make it. I don't care. Okay. This is my art, but I live in a world where my music, I don't care. You want to use it? Go for it. I got a bunch. If you guys need music for your shows that isn't going to get you a copyright strike, and have at it. I'll give you, write me, jackblood@hotmail.com, write me or comment here. Let me know how to get in contact with you. I'll show you where it is. Pick out what you want. Take it. Use whatever you want, man. I'm not going to say it's all great or anything, but some of it's pretty interesting. Would make some decent background music and podcast music. You won't get a copyright strike. I don't care. I don't do what I do. I don't do all of this for money, though. I mean, I need to survive. I need to eat. I ain't trying to buy any McMansions or Humvees or private planes, or as much as I love to travel, whatever, man. I just want to be able to keep making art. And the older I get, the harder it is to get out in the world and make an honest buck. And I need to make an honest buck. I can't lie, cheat, and steal. I can't hustle and scam and grift. And I'd probably be pretty good at it. Had a few chances to do that. And what I didn't like. Quit immediately, quit doing that. I've never done that. And you guys know I've never done that. And if I have, it certainly was inadvertently. Call me out on it, and I'll figure out and apologize if it's necessary. So, I mean, there's just so much we could do together. So I am thankful for you. I'm certainly thankful for my family. Thankful seeing so many homeless people that I have a home at all, even though I'm a renter. You know, thankful, man. I have a lot of good friends still. I'm thankful that I get to play music at all, which is one of my passions. Certainly one of my favorite hobbies. Thankful I still have one good eye left, and it's not even that good. If that's going to be the case, you know. So thankful for the life I've had, because I've certainly been pretty blessed, and hopefully that will continue. But yeah, I need your thoughts and prayers, as they say. Any juju, any green energy you have, and I don't mean, with solar, wind. I mean, they call it Reiki or whatever potions you dig up, man. I'll be under the knife or the laser, hopefully tomorrow. And, the good outcome for me would be that I don't lose my sight in one eye completely and I'm able to use it, because I sure would miss that right eye. It's been nice, and it's been nice having it. It's been good having it. I kind of need it to read and do the things I do. So it'd be really awesome if they can fix my retina in this eye, and I'm done with it for a while till this eye blows out. You guys take care of yourself out there, man. Take care of your eyes. Take care of your balls, your eyeballs, and your lower balls. You guys out there. And you women out there, take care of your eyes and your men's balls. Okay. On that note, I guess we'll end. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. And I'll do another report as soon as I can. If you find me on social media, I might be able to type out a sentence. Who knows? With my one good eye, it's not easy, but I'll do what I can. And come back with a report as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure Thursday, after this Thursday, I'll be able to do my Achelli.com show, which is audio only. That's not something I plan on giving up. If Chuck can produce the show almost completely blind, I can do it with one eye if that's what it's going to take. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Take care of others. Be bold as always, and shine bright, you crazy diamonds.